are you here? Why are you here by the pearly gates? Woo! Because I said I was gonna come here. I was gonna kick that motherfucking door down. You can't kick the door down. It's made of me. Woo! I'll figure for that gate. No, we're back. More saxophone.
I don't think I can get into heaven. I think
I done been there.
I don't think they will. I don't think they'll let me in.
They let everyone in. It's like cut policy.
We just say sorry. Dim the rules.
Them's the rules. We're back.
Yay!
Yay!
It's been a while. It feels like it's been a long while.
Too solid.
Whoa. It was only 1 week. 1 week.
1 week.
It feels like way longer than that.
Lots of stuff happened.
Yeah, lots of stuff. We went to a comedy show to support our good friends that were up on them stages. And it was good. It was a good night. Lots of laughs, lots of beers. It was fun. Had a good time. Yeah. Very good time. So we do have a special guest today. I'm probably going to butcher his last Sargis. Brian Sargis will be on. He was here earlier, but we were not here because we needed.
We was being gangster.
We needed beverages, so we went to go get them. I also needed a helium tank, not for fun times, mind you, because helium tank might be fun, but it's for a party, a child's party.
If you huff helium, you huff air duster. Both of those are not key.
Dude, I just watched that.
Walking on sunshine.
Yeah, I watched that documentary on the Carter boys, Nick and Aaron Carter.
Them weirdos?
Oh man, they had a fucked up life. First of all, Nick Carter's a piece of shit.
What do you do?
Allegedly is a piece of shit.
What do you do?
He's he's an abuser. He's a rapist.
He's a rapey raper.
Yeah, and then his brother tried to speak out against him because the brother's not like that. He's just poor kid.
Drug addict. And he dead now?
Yeah, he's dead. He died. But he got harassed. He was harassed online, and it's some crazy shit. You need to check it out. It's on Max. Yeah, pretty heavy stuff. I didn't know any of that shit.
I just knew he was a basshead.
Honestly, I didn't listen to
well, that
boy
was
bands back
that was
in the
not
day.
our generation. I guess it was some of
our
generation.
I while people were listening to that, I was listening to 9 Inch Nails and fucking Nirvana.
I was listening
to
"Fuck You Like an Animal."
Deftones, yeah.
Dude, I remember the first time I saw the video for I was at my aunt's house and it came on because my aunt would listen to more rock music, and so she just had MTV on. Yeah. And I don't know why they were playing it, but they just started playing it, and it gets to a point, and I just see all the adults except for my aunt just start looking at the TV. They're like, "Did he just say fuck you like an animal? Did he just bleep out fuck? What did he say?"
No, I think did they edit it at first?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, the visual
though.
is kind of wild because it was a point where there was a pig spinning upside down.
Yeah.
And they were just like, what?
I
remember that vividly. That, and I had that band live. I had Throwing Copper, and there's a song on it called Shit Town. And I knew the whole chorus of Shit Town.
I don't think I've ever heard.
It's not. He's making fun
I've
of
heard that one song. That they.
If you heard that one, you heard them all. He's like, hey, yeah, across all of them.
Doesn't he do lightning crash?
Placenta.
Yeah, that's the only song that I know. Lightning crash.
I know they're from not around here, but I think they're from Pennsylvania. I think they're from the same town that what's it called? Rolling Rocket beer is made in.
Yeah.
They used to have a rock festival where Rolling Rock is made. I forgot what it was called, but it was a bigger one. It was on par with HF Festival when we were younger. Because I know Metallica played that shit 1 year, and it was a big deal.
Yeah.
Back when Metallica was.
Yeah, it was.
Boo! Yeah.
Yeah, I listened to more of the grungier stuff. I listened to Failure. Oh, by the way, all of you Failure fans, you probably don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, but Failure was the thing when I was 15 years old. Failure rocks, by the way, but they're no longer on Spotify. If you don't know what is going on, they've decided to pull all of their stuff, and now you can buy digital copies of their stuff.
So you know why they might be doing
on
that?
Their actual website, but it is no longer available on Spotify. So, I'm weeping for
you know why that might have happened? So a lot of the bands that we listen to, once your masters hit 35 years, it flips in the amount of money you get from, I think you get like 10% when the record company owns it to getting 80%, and they get like, you have to pay, I guess, some type of publishers, and then the record label gets 20%. There's a lot of bands that have started. Remember that band?
A lot of like hemorrhaging.
Well, there's a lot of hip hop bands like that are starting to make a lot of money. Dudes that are in their 50s because their records didn't get repressed. Like they were hits, but they weren't like, it wasn't like it's not Michael Jackson.
It wasn't
they didn't keep
worthy
pressing.
Of like pressing.
So like there's this one of the first white hip hop bands. I forgot. Like they had a song called like "Pop Goes the Weasel." Third Base. They weren't like a giant band, but they had like it's
Sounds
like
familiar.
Yeah, like you've seen the video. He reminded me of a white fucking Humpty Hump. Like,
yeah. I think I know.
So that dude was talking about it because he became a music executive, but he was like, now I'm making more money than I ever have off of my shit because I own 80% of it now.
Wow.
So Failure could be hitting that point where they're gonna be like, gonna re-release it, and if they put it back on, they'll get more money.
That's such an underrated band. I don't understand.
Well, a lot of people don't know like a lot of the members that have been in that band, like Troy Van Leeuwen from he was in Perfect Circle, the original lineup, and he's also the guitar player in Queens of the Stone Age. He's from Failure.
Yeah,
like a lot of people don't know that like that's where like his roots were, and Failure is a really influential band to bands that you like. That's the one huge thing is if you. Everybody that plays music is like, you like Failure?
Yeah. Like Saturday Savior is one of my favorite songs.
Another band like that is Hum.
Yeah, I love Hum. Yeah,
like
they're both kind of like the same type of band. They're
shoegaze.
Yeah.
Alternative.
Yeah, absolutely. I recall going to that show, and I remember going there, and I the last time I had seen a Failure show, I was like 16 years old. So I knew what to expect, and I knew that they take forever to get on the stage, and they have a long like intro. But it is an interesting intro, and
they were Ren and Stimpy.
Yeah, they were playing Ren and Stimpy, and at one point, like I could see like a few millennials that obviously had just discovered Failure, and they were standing by us. They were drunk as shit, and they were like complaining, like, "Where's the band? Like, this is bullshit." I don't even think they knew what Ren and Stimpy was.
I don't know if this is a generational thing too. But or if it's just in this area that people go to shows that don't really listen to the band, they just get tickets. It's a band. It's the same thing as a basketball game.
Yeah.
They fucking never shut the fuck up.
They talked to the whole fucking
I went and saw went and saw Prizefighter Inferno. Prizefighter Inferno is the singer of Coheed and Cambria, and it's more electronic. It's him with acoustics, him with
it's ballads, love ballads and stuff. Like,
and like sort of techno stuff. And it's the same thing. There's a storyline to it. There's comic books for that one too. But they played 2 nights in a row. The first night apparently was awesome because it was when the fans all went to the first show. The second show, a lot of people, I don't know if because it was a new venue too, Atlantis. It was one of the first batch of tickets that came out where you could go, like you had to get into a lottery. The place is so small; it only holds 300 people. Pixies played there the first run. A lot of small, bigger bands played this very small venue that's supposed to be like the original 930 Club, down to the pole in the middle of the stage. Unfortunately, the show we went to. A lot of douchebags, and I've seen mention of this on Facebook from people being like, "What the fuck happened to that second show?" People didn't shut the fuck up. People were like kind of like drinking too much. There were people's kids there that were like, "I don't want to sit through this first band."
Yeah,
like shit like that. If you're going to a show, word to the wise, if you're going to a show, shut the fuck up. Yeah. Listen to the openers. You could discover some shit. Like I discovered Baroness through opening up from Coheed, like Fall of Troy, lots and lots of different bands that don't sound like the band like Clutch.
Yeah, I like go here. I would have never like listened to them, and then they opened for some metal band that I went to a show with Tiffany, and I was like, holy crap, they're fucking good.
And it's also awesome when you have bands that are maybe start off as a smaller band in a very obscure scene, whether it's metal or punk, and when they finally get to like whether it's like Tool or like Bad Religion or something, like you're gonna see a band that you've never seen before that's like been around for like 20 years that hasn't got the opportunity to play these big stadiums. Like last time we saw Tool, I think it was Killing Joke.
Mm-hmm.
That band's been around for fucking ever. They're like so influential in that like almost industrial, like early 80s industrial, that it's cool to see those type of bands getting to play like arenas where they're used to playing like Anthem or like at the biggest that they can play. So it is, I like seeing that. And as we get older, there's lots of bands that are like on their last runs that are finally getting an opportunity to get like go into these really nice venues where they probably get to eat real. I know when I was on tour, the best part of being on tour, if you get to go on like a bigger tour, I don't know how they all are, but Warped Tour was you got to eat, like everybody ate together unless they didn't want to eat like the backstage food. So you're sitting there and like same dude's eating scrambled eggs, and dude from like Fat Mike walks up, like some dude from My Chemical Romance walks up putting on makeup. Then that was Avenged Sevenfold. They do wore makeup at breakfast. I thought it was a funny show. I was way too high. I got really fucking high, and I went to breakfast, and I'm eating like eggs and steak, and I'm like, this is way better than what I was eating. I was eating fucking Chick-fil-A if work brought it in. Like, so that I fucking.
I feel like that would be such an amazing experience.
Oh, dude, it was.
I mean, I love meeting bands and like meeting like members of the band, especially if they're like. If they're in the crowd, they're selling their own merchandise. Like
you'll have it.
Point, we are scientists. I actually have a very embarrassing story. So me and George went to go see We Are Scientists. I absolutely love the band. They're catchy. They're like sing-songy. They like the college rock kind of like music that I absolutely adore. My guilty pleasure. And after the show, the guitarist was at the table and he was selling some Jesus. He was selling merch, and I was just like totally starstruck because he's my favorite. Like the singer's cool and all, but
you like the bass player.
I love me some bass, that vibration, But
slap of the bass.
Yeah, slap of the bass. So we were standing in line, and my dumbass, like I was in such a rush that day. I usually like get my nails done. I was just, I was like, my nails look fucked up. I'm not gonna like paint them. I'm just gonna put on some press-on nails.
Get them leaves.
You know where this is going right now. And it comes with a little super glue or whatnot, and claims like they hold for like a week. It's a lie. Don't listen. It's a gimmick. Get your nails done, ladies. Spend the extra money, because let me tell you.
Go to them ladies and like, you look so good.
Yeah. So we were, oh my God, so embarrassing. So we were like the next person, like, we were next in line.
Yeah.
And I went to reach in my pocketbook, and I guess I pressed my hand over my wallet a little bit too tight, and my nail flicked off. It literally popped off, flew across the fucking table, and hit the guy in the thigh. Like, just bounced off his fucking leg, and he was like, whoa. I knew he saw it, because he remarked. He was like, whoa. And then, like, he must have, like, looked over at me and saw how red I was and how embarrassed, and then just went, like, just moved right along. And then, like, and then it was my turn, and I couldn't say anything. I was like, you guys were great tonight.
You should have just walked up. T-shirt? You should have just walked up in Bolden and been like, yeah, I flicked my nail at you.
I should have been like, can I get my nail back, please?
Be like, hey, can I get my nail back?
Those joints were like $15.
You should have been like, I lost my nail. Can I have yours?
So that has to be the most most embarrassing thing is when I got de-pantsed, and the lead singer for Dashboard Confessionals was at my friend's brother's house as we were walking in, and I was holding my pants together. So that I've had a lot of embarrassing moments with band members. Apparently, like, holy,
it's
fuck.
better than like, so like I look back on stuff that I did when I was like younger, and then I have embarrassment because at the time I was just like living in the moment. I didn't really care, and I've noticed it's the same thing about my daughter. Like, she she does have an ego, but that she doesn't really take a lot of stuff serious. Like one time she was like remarking that she talks too much. She was like she was remarking about how he's like, I can understand how somebody could get tired of me talking too much, and just went back to what she was doing and talking. And I was like, yeah, I get it.
At least she notes it. Like,
oh yeah,
anecdotally, I know that this is too much for you, but I'm going to continue to do it anyway. And then moves right.
Oh
along.
yeah. I wish I had that type, like, because now at this point, like I'll hit points. Yeah, well, I have self-awareness, but I still don't care. Like for instance, like if I'm walking around like Walmart and I start like thinking out loud and say like, that's some wild ass shit, and somebody looks at me because I'm by myself, obviously like not talking to anybody, and somebody will look at me like this guy's crazy. Now I've got to the point where I'll stare them down until they look away. like I don't give a flying fuck anymore. I've hit the age where I think I'm hitting old man don't give a fuck, and I'm starting to get concerned because I catch myself. I know when I'm 60, this shit's gonna come out. I'll hear some stuff. Like let's say I hear a song I don't know any of the lyrics to, but I know like the rhythm of it. I'll be like, like I know it's in my head. But when I hit 65, that's just going to be like, like in the middle of a Walmart parking lot. I'm going to get beat up by one of these Zennials. They're going to be like, you're making are you a racist?
I feel like it depending on who you are and what you're doing, like it could be a good thing because I tend to be goofy when I'm at the store because I'm at the store. I'm spending money. I got all that dopamine. Is like I'm so happy right now. I'm like, ooh, look at all this stuff. So I'm just my usually goofy self, and I tend to like talk to myself too. I was at Target and I was doing that, and like there's this lady, and this has like happened like twice, where like the lady turns around to me and she's like, I just want to let you know that I think you're so cute, you're so beautiful. I was like, oh my god, I'm so flattered. I'm just sitting here minding my business, like talking to myself like a crazy person. So sometimes it's a good thing. It's a good thing to be crazy because apparently it's an attractive trait. Ladies, I am available.
So I found that I know what I look like. I'm a bigger person, and I'm a dude that is kind of taller. So I know that, like, if I'm by myself and a woman's by herself, I try to be, like, I won't...
cognizant of, like...
I don't even try to walk up behind a person. I make myself known in an aisle. Not like, hey, I'm here, but I'm like I'll nod or say hi on purpose, because I don't want people to be afraid of me.
You're scary.
Because I look like I'm a panel van away from snatching somebody. So I will make an effort to say hi. If I'm walking past a person, I make an effort to make eye contact, especially if it's a female. Not to be like, hey, girl, but to be like, I'm here. I'm not somebody acts a fool, I whoop their ass. I want people to feel safe, whether it's like, like anybody. So I've noticed that some people, and this is only from women, dudes will just look away if they don't want to talk to you. Or they'll be like, hey.
Yeah.
Women will give me the dirtiest looks. And
really?
Yeah. And I know what it is. I could look like I'm a dude that said a fuck, because women probably get hit on everywhere, and I try to be understanding. I'd laugh at it. I'm like, she's probably having a bad day. Somebody's probably hit on her fucking 40 times. Like, there's probably some dude in a Walmart 2 years ago that was like, you have a sweet cooter. So like,
see, that's harassment.
There's
a fine line between like someone complimenting you and then someone being
but that
straight
fine
up
line is simply a sentence. Yeah. So like that woman could have like dealt with some dude right beside in the aisle beside the fucking can linguinis, like where he's like, let me see your cooter, and it could have been the same exact Walmart, same exact aisle. So I try to be like, it's not me. Like like me being here did not cause it's not the real reason why you gave me that dirty look. It's probably some other dude like 13 years
Try not
ago.
To take it personally.
Oh yeah, no, I laugh about it because at this point it's like, I don't give a flying fuck. Yeah, it wasn't me. But I think a lot of people go into public with more expectation of certain things happening that are favorable to them than the world really gives you. For instance, I saw somebody on What's Up Front Royal talking about how two cops passed them when it was a woman changing her tire, like she had a flat. Now, in certain jurisdictions, they're not allowed to stop because it can be two things. They put that tire on wrong for you, they're liable for it.
Right.
Another thing is sometimes when people are assholes to cops, if you pull over to change the tire, they can shoot you in the back of the fucking head. So I understand both sides. I understand this woman wanting help changing her tire, but you can't expect, just because you are a female, for somebody to help you.
Not only that, the cops are not VDOT, baby girl.
Now maybe we should put
call like
AAA.
the appropriate call the appropriate people to help you.
I don't think that I understand the sentiment, because for some people and that are smaller, changing a tire is harder, and typically women are smaller than men. Cars are made by men.
It's so easy to do, though.
I know, and you know, because you were trained to do this, and my daughter will be trained to do that, like check her oil, all these things.
I can even change an alternator for you.
Because as a human being, you want to be as self-sufficient as possible.
Yeah.
Because two reasons: it's attractive. Like, no matter what sex you are, if you're fucking not if you're capable of handling your own shit.
Yeah.
Because it shows that you're not weak. And like, let's say if we're just going straight to fucking us being breeding animals, somebody that's more capable, you want to mate with more.
Right.
So it is an attractive feature. And two, you don't want to be stuck on the side of the road at fucking 1 a.m. when nobody's around, not even the police, trying to change that tire. You want to change
in the dark. That shit's like, especially if you have the only light that you have is your phone. That's
and be prepared.
So bad.
Like things. That's my best advice for my kid or anybody that starts driving. Anybody's kids, teach them how to do this shit so they're prepared, because you don't know when they're on a road trip with their friends in fucking Alabama if that fucking tire is gonna pop.
Yeah, for sure.
Like tell them like, yo, know your tire size. Know how much you should inflate it to. So, like, know these things. Because, like, and I also think you should buy an old car without the amenities that you have in your own car. Like, my car tells me when my tire's deflating, tells me if I'm getting too close to another car. Yeah. Because these kids need to know this shit and drive like they don't have those features. So then when they have those features, like, it's an extra layer. Yeah. Like, when I got a car, my first car was like a fucking carbureted engine. Like, not even fuel injection. And I had to know all kinds of stuff. I had to I had to have radiator fluid with me. I had to have like extra oil, like all these little things that like I don't think kids now, because they're so uber rent the things to. A lot of them don't even have licenses. I don't think this is a broad generalization. Like there's certain things that like the younger generations, just because of the way society is made, it's not like they're lazy. Right. Certain things, like things that we liked. Going to the music store, fucking buying a bunch of records, like discovering music, buying samplers. They don't do that because they don't even buy music the same way. They stream everything because that's what they were brought into. And I'm not going to say streaming is bad. Streaming's the new radio. Yeah. If people really want your records, they'll be a fan of your show, sell the records at your show, people will buy them. That's like the original model for music was that these records were representations of the band. So you would hear the music and want to go to the show.
Yeah.
And then it became, especially after the Beatles, because the Beatles became primarily a studio band because it was hard for them to tour because of the limitations of the audio setups. Whether it was like back before like bands like the Grateful Dead who like had to create their own sound system, it was really hard for different dynamics, whether it was the bass or the guitar or the vocals cutting through over things as simple as like the crowd volume. That was a big thing for the Beatles. The crowds were louder than their amps, because amps back then, especially when the Beatles, the first, like when they were still like the Fab Four, like they all dressed the same before they became hippies. Amps, especially the amps they used, were like 30 watts. 30 watts is loud, but it's loud like club loud, not loud Shea Stadium loud. Once bands hit stadium volume, that's when you get stuff like a stack that's like 100 watts, and then now they don't even use that because you have such powerful sound systems that like. You can mic up the same amps that the Beatles were using, and you can use targeted stuff, multiple relays to be able to get yourself the sound that you're producing on stage to be able to go to like almost every seat with the same quality of fidelity.
Yeah.
And Beatles, because they were such talented musicians who were so tight live, once they got into a studio and they had a producer helping them do all these tricks, it became another art form on top of live music. Then you had bands in like the 70s where it became like the ultra, such as like Led Zeppelin, especially Led Zeppelin. There was lots of weird shit that they would do. There's stuff on their albums where you'll hear like echoes and extra stuff. That's literally just bleed through when they were recording.
Yeah.
So there's studio music is now sort of reverting back to that. You can have bands like Tool who take like 10 years to record an album, but that album's going to be like a masterwork.
Yeah.
And then by the time they get to play that shit on stage, it's going to be fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
I definitely think both things are an art form. I like recording music. It is a totally different thing than playing live. Playing live is almost like it's hitting a home run.
Right.
That feeling of like everybody's there. Like I had the same feeling when I would go on stage as I've had like when I've had like cage fights. It's you walk in, you were so fucking nervous, you want to run out of there. Before I would play shows, I would have to walk out by myself. I would do my vocal warm ups, and I would walk like a mile and just be like, I cannot be around anybody. And then I would just walk right in and get on stage because I didn't want to fucking even think about it. Yeah. Same thing with fights. I fucking
There's no running now.
Fights are the fucking worst. Like, so going on stage, at least you have an army with you. You have your boys. It's like by the time you like get on, like you're playing like 3 or 4 shows a week, you're everybody's tight. You don't have to worry about stuff. You practice almost every single day. You have like one day off where you don't go through your set. It's like clockwork. It's like riding a bike. It's like 1 foot, 2 foot. And when there's a certain level of nervousness, but you'll like laugh and joke about it. You smoke a joint, you go on stage. When you're about to go out to fight somebody, there's a bunch of people who have the same feeling, and you're all separated by like what corner you're gonna fight in. Sometimes you'll have your like. For me, my last like fight that I had, the guy that I was going against was in the same locker room as the most of my team. My coach came over and was like, cause I'm just in the room by myself, just doing self warm-ups. And he's like, everybody else is in that room. And I was like, yeah, but my opponent's in there. He's like, I don't give a fuck. Like, he was basically like, what is he going? Well, like, it's like, I know that like how I think. And if I saw somebody rolling, like doing a certain move over and over again, I would like be like, oh, that's what they're going to do. So I was like, oh, I got to have some secretism. I don't want to know. But then, like, you know, you got to do your weigh-ins. This dude's seen me for like 2 hours. That's another thing that happens with fighters. And I was older in my last fight, so it was hilarious because a lot of the ring girls are strippers or like dancers or so, like they're women that are parading themselves around because they're hot. I'm in a room with a bunch of dudes that are in our draws and t-shirts, like getting our physicals, right? Like a line of us, like probably like 20 dudes, right? And the girls come in like wearing like fucking like fur and like dressed all hot. And I saw like every dude that was under like 24. All of a sudden they all turned and looked, and me and like 2 other dudes were like, the young ones. They are full of testosterone. They're about to fight, and they're like, hot chick. Woo! But that shit is nuts. And then after you win, those chicks like come and like try to get around you, give you a trophy. It is like the funniest shit ever. I died laughing. I did the Keanu Reeves where you don't actually put your hands on him because I'm like I feel like a dirty old man.
You don't want to be that creepy guy.
Yeah, and I was like, I won. All right, can I have a trophy? And then like I went and sat down and was like, everything hurts. I'm too old. I'll retire.
This is it. Yeah,
like those 24-year-olds, dude. I don't care if you beat them. Like when you're like, I think I was like,
you'll feel it 2 days later.
I think I was like 38. Like, and it. Dude, I popped my toe out of socket. I didn't even know until I got home. That's another thing that happens. Like a lot of these things, people aren't going to stay and wait for you to get out of there because you have your teammates that are fighting. You have like, you know, all this other stuff. And when everybody leaves, you get in your car, and it was the silliest thing ever. I'm sitting in my car. My toe is throbbing. I got to drive with that foot. I know, like, I don't think it. I thought I just got turf toe from like digging into the mat, and like my toe was popped out of socket. And I didn't know. You had an adrenaline dump. Like I'm all excited. I get in the truck and I got my trophy, and I'm just like, I was like, if I get pulled over, I'm just some retard with a hurt foot driving with a fucking 3-foot trophy in the truck. Like, and then I get up the next morning, my toe's still throbbing, and I grab the bitch and I just pull hard, and it's like plop plop, and goes back into place. I was like, yeah, I'm definitely not fighting again. Like that was 30 seconds. No, it was like 54 seconds, and I still got hurt. I'm too old to do this. Like I had a Danny Glover moment.
Yeah.
But before I went out for that, I sweated through my fucking shirt, like, and I wasn't even like
nervousness.
Oh, dude, and my coach touched.
You're a nervous sweater.
Oh, well, it was just like it was more like I don't perform good when I have to think about it. If you just put me in a room, and be like, we're gonna train for the next 6 weeks, and you don't tell me there's a fight coming, I'll fucking perform wonderfully. But as soon as you tell me there's a person, I want to stuff. I want to know everything. I'm fucking gonna go full autistic on it.
Yeah.
And like it's good to be a coach. It's good for being a coach. Like for instance, when Lily was going for the States, oh, fucking, she knew I was going to do it. She was like, you've already looked up these girls' records and who they've gone against. And I was like, yeah, of course. I'm not even your coach. And, like, of course.
Gotta know.
Oh, yeah, dude. Like,
for sure.
That's just data. Like, it's easier to be a coach with that data because it's like a video game. Like when you, like, play a video game and you can see, like, how many hit points it takes to take out the bad guy. You know what you have to do. So you can advise better. When you're in it and you're getting punched or like somebody's trying to choke you, it's a lot harder to be like, I need to pull the arm down. It's like, this needs to stop. You need to stop choking me. I need to do something. Oh. So, yeah. Fighting is not as scary as it seems. A lot of people, like, they look at me when especially when I first started, I would talk about like what happens when you do an arm bar. Like, you sublocate, like, the elbow joint. You can turn it into different things. You can cause, like, a fracture of the tibia or, like, the ulna in the arm, like, depending on which way you turn. And people, like, or I would talk about, like, why you punch people, like, why people elbow people in certain parts of the face. It's not because it hurts them more. It's because there's more bone. Like, if you aim for somebody's nose or the cheekbone, it's because if you smash your elbow into it until it hits the bone, it's not that you cut it open because your elbow's so sharp. Your elbow's dull as fuck. You're actually compressing your elbow until there's no skin in between your elbow and their cheekbone, so it pops it open. So it's more like impact. So if you can think about where to arc your arm so you cause the most impact to a flat surface with your elbow and smash the meat down, you can cut them open faster.
You know what else will pop open in their face?
Dicks.
A knife.
Knife will too. Knife will too.
I get the aesthetics for, like, fighting. I've even had, like, friends who are like, you should do this, and I'm like, no. So I'm just not into that.
For MMA, it's a different beast. I liked MMA, but I practiced jiu-jitsu. And as I got better at jiu-jitsu, it seemed more likely to do certain things in unarmed combat, and you could control the situation with jiu-jitsu. So it made MMA easier in terms of the stress that happens when you start fighting. Because, like, when I was younger, I grew up, you grow up in the projects, especially if you don't look the blackest, but your dad is black. You catch a lot of shit from people that are either white or black and also poor and just want to pick fights. Like, your dad ain't your dad. Like, you're in there. Like, your mom's naked. Like that stuff comes out just like you're not black enough. Or, like, but there's a lot of people that are just like, whatever, we're all kids. You get in a lot of fights, and those fights are totally different. Like, they're like the more towards the aspect that you're talking about with, like, knives. Like, there was fights where I got into a basketball courts where I got hit with center blocks, like shit like that you don't expect. Yeah. Not to say jiu-jitsu can stop that, but the same things that I relied on when I would get in those fights in terms of if somebody hits you hard enough, you got to grab them and, like, figure out a way to, like, minimize their ability to hit you. Jiu-jitsu sort of coincided with that. Also, like, wrestling when I was younger. But if you can combine the skills of hand-to-hand combat, whether it's jiu-jitsu or, like, any other, like, boxing, and you have a weapon, like, let's say, for instance, boxing. If you have a knife and you know how to box, the twist, it just becomes, you become more lethal.
I know having all of this. I'll never forget. I think I was, like, maybe 11, 12 years old, and I had, like, I had a little bag of, like, change, and I was on my way to 7-Eleven. I just wanted a fucking Slurpee and a couple of candy bars. That's all I wanted. And there's these. I just
wanted a Slurpee.
That's all I wanted, man. And there's these neighborhood girls that always fucking picked on me.
Hood bitches.
Yeah, and this hood bitches. We were basically, like, the only like white family. Yeah. Like, I say white. My grandmother is Italian, Spanish, Spanish, and my grandfather was Irish, so, like, we were the only, like, little white family in the neighborhood. It always got picked on. Always. Well,
at least your grandma was like a little bit darker skinned than, like, so. Like,
oh yeah, she had dark olive. She had that olive tone.
Oh yeah, your mom. Like, if your grandmother, if somebody was like she was from, like, Ecuador, it would have been believable.
Yeah, and she was short. Like, this woman was like 4'9". She's tiny little woman.
Stereotypical.
Tiny little Spanish woman. Like, she could probably wear like a kerchief on her. She had the nose to the old lady, like, old Spanish lady had that look. But we always got picked on. There was definitely like more people that like were friends. Like I had quite a few friends, but there was always these two girls that always fucked with me, and I was kind of an ugly duckling back in the day. I had like fucked up teeth. We were poor. My parents couldn't afford braces or anything like that. Like fucked up teeth, bottle glasses, like obviously like thrift store clothes, like that were way older than the times. So they targeted us. And I was walking to 7-Eleven with this bag of change, and of course they approached me, and they were picking on me and calling me all kinds of like names. And at that point, I was so tired of it because they fucked with me in school. They fucked with. We had to walk. This is when I went to George Washington Middle School, which is in Alexandria. Yeah, G-Dub. Led Zeppelin. I think the lead singer, not Led Zeppelin.
Doors.
Yeah, Doors.
Jim Morrison.
Jim Morrison went to George W. But I was on my way from school, and they would pick on me all the time. But so at that point, I had it. And there's two things.
Oh yeah.
There's two things that I'm really good at. I can fucking swing. You know why? Because I played softball. So I can swing, and I can fucking run. I could run really fast. So I took that fucking bag and I like whipped it twice, and I beamed that bitch right on the side of the fucking face.
You got to do it sometimes.
Coins went everywhere. And her friend was like, "Oh hell no, get that bitch!" And I ran for the hills. I ran all the way like to fucking GW. I hid underneath the bleachers, and I just waited. I waited and waited, and they never came. And I'm like, that's because they didn't run after me, those slow ass bitches. They never fucked with me again, though. They might have gotten my money, but she got a hell of a fucking bruise on the side of her goddamn noggin.
My brother, for some reason, my middle brother, he wouldn't fight, but he'd stand up for himself. And so he'd get in these confrontations where he would like, there'd be a group of people trying to fight him because he wouldn't back down, but he wouldn't fight. So it was kind of like this weird like energy, right? So like one day, all of a sudden, like I think I might have been a freshman in high school and he was still in middle school. I hear a bunch of noise and it's obviously like something's happening. So I like go to the front door. I get out like a half an hour before him, and all of a sudden I see him. Like we had bushes all around the townhouse we lived in. I hear like the rip through, like, and then like door open. I'm like, the fuck? I go out there. There's like fucking 10 kids that have chased him to the house, right? And fucking, I just walked outside and was like, I'll beat every fucking one of you in my fucking front yard. Come through the fucking bushes onto my property. I'm gonna wear every single one of you at the same time. And then after that, me and him had a conversation. I was like, look, man, if you gonna fucking talk shit, you gotta end that shit. Not a week later, one of those same kids walked up behind him and tried to grab him and hit him. And he had this ring. I think we were going to like Harper's Ferry or one of those fucking old timey places. And it was a ring made out of fucking like one of those straight nails. Mm-hmm. And he always wore that shit. And my brother wrestled and all this other shit. And finally he lost his temper and he picked this kid up and like slammed him with a double leg. And then I saw him grab his hand and he turned his ring around. And I was like, no, don't kill him. Just beat his ass. And luckily, before I could get to him, because I was like halfway down the block, a neighbor came out and he had saw the same thing. And he was like, grabbed his arm. He's like, no, you can't kill him. Like, so it was definitely, after that, he didn't get fucked with anymore. But it was like, he had people chase him home like 2 or 3 times. I wasn't there, so he could have said some scandalous shit. Like, knowing him, he probably did. But I think there's a difference, kids now. And our generation that grew up in more hood areas, there was a lot more fighting. But it was because you didn't have a Nintendo. You got to amuse yourself at the basketball court. And basketball courts, inevitably, if you have a basketball court outside the back of your house, put a camera on that bench. Because you will definitely be able to see hood-level fights all the time. I got hit with a center block at the basketball court.
Yeah. Once you do, like, stand up for yourself, it's like something goes out on the radio waves of that neighborhood, and like all of a sudden,
leave that motherfucker alone.
Yeah, people start respecting you. I mean, I definitely have my group of friends. I remember I had this, like, my best friend Tamika. Like, she
To
came up,
meek.
she's like, look, I heard what happened, girl, and like we just sat there and talked about it. And then there's this boy, oh my god, my first crush, my first hood crush, Tyrese. Yeah, I'm sure he's not listening, but if you are, shout out to you, guy.
Sexy ass Tyrese.
But yeah, like it does, like, once you actually stick up for yourself, whether you win or not, it does command a little bit more respect, and people pay attention. They're like, you know what, she's not worth picking on because she will beanbag you with fucking. I had a big. It wasn't just like a handful. This is like at least $10 worth of pennies and nickels, and because I didn't give a shit. I was gonna count up all that change for Slurpee and some now and laters, and maybe one of those like bags of like corn nuts. I don't know. I didn't get that chance because those two bitches fucked with me. I went without my Slurpee that day, but it was worth it because yeah, it was like a shower of coins. It was glorious. Oh hell no! I will never get. Oh hell no! I ran like the wind. It was good. It was good. Yeah.
Every now and again, you got to stand up for yourself.
Yeah.
People don't do that anymore. They just fucking talk shit on Twitter, and that's how they fucking.
Yeah.
Oh man. So a lot of stuff happened the last couple weeks. In fact, Front Royal's newest artist extraordinaire, Lita. So
I don't know about extraordinary, but
I do. I was there. So
yes,
we had the last show we were talking about good old Front Royal 36th annual, the Wu-Tang annual, Wine and Craft Festival.
Yeah.
So it was a rainy day. You were quite nervous the last show.
I thought it was.
You thought it was you came like
I was more
late.
nervous because I had so many pieces.
Well,
that
beyond
could not
all
get
that,
wet.
you were doing a bunch of stuff. You were making various art up until the night before. In fact, you came. You had to come late for the show because you were in the middle of working on a piece, and obviously, when the muse hits you, you can't leave it.
Yeah.
How did the art show go?
It went wonderfully. I sold all of my stuff. I'm actually kind of sad that there are pieces that I had for a very long time. There's this one piece, aptly named ICU, and it was an eyeball. It's a mixed media acrylic piece with actual like pieces of eyes from a clipping of magazines that I've collected over the years. And I had that piece for 15 years.
Yeah.
Hanging on my wall. So, like, some of the stuff, it was a little bittersweet watching it go, but at the same time,
that's
I'm like,
the nature of art, though.
Now I have free space on my wall, so I can start creating some more stuff.
The nature of art is like making these things that you get to your masterpiece, but they're the world's masterpiece.
Yeah.
Like, this is the one way to think of it. You can be like Da Vinci, right? Where during his time, his art was appreciated, and then when he died, he was a master. And you have people like, like Warhol, who's also big in his time, but then you have like, whether like any artist, whether it's Edgar Allan Poe was fucking, nobody really appreciated him during his lifetime, and then when he dies, they're like, holy fuck, look at this morose shit. It's if you can make art, not making art for the sake of what's popular, just expressing yourself, and people enjoy it, it is bittersweet because you have to get rid of these things that you exercised from yourself, but at the same time, that's fucking ridiculous. Like, for myself, I don't think I'll ever be confident enough to sell mine because I look at my art like they're just fucking glorified comic books.
Yeah, but I said the same thing about my stuff. I'm like, it's not really that great.
I've talked about this before. I paint with watercolors and ink and more like comic book style art. I've always been appreciative of people, whether it's like that can do sculpture. I can do sculpture, but it's like I'm not gonna fucking like work with marble. I'm not gonna chip stuff. I can do clay. Mm-hmm. I can paint, but I do watercolor. People that can work with oil and even like do a lot of stuff with acrylic, especially oil. I worked with oil once or twice, and I like what I did, but I could never see myself not losing my shit if I had to paint on canvas with oil. I know myself well enough where I would ruin like 50%. Like, and I think a lot of the masters did that. Like, they talk about like a lot of people, whether it's Van Gogh or Da Vinci, having, if you look at the artwork through certain filters, you can see the older paintings underneath. I know for 100% there'd be like 50 different paintings on top of like my shit. But I think anything that you can't do or that you struggle to do, you're gonna have appreciation like for people that can do it. And it looks effortless. And I think with a lot of stuff, like your sculptures, I know various people came by and would look at it, especially the snails. I saw a lot of people be like, "Holy fuck! How'd you?" Like they were questioning how those got made. What is this? Like,
a lot of people thought I was using molds, like just casting molds, but I do it all. Like I do them with wire first, and then I just layer the clay on it, and I do the eyes separately. The eyes go on there last. So and of course I always incorporate something that I found. All of the snails. So story time. All of the shells that you see on the snails that I have, I actually still have a good set, like 50 shells back. But I went on vacation with my husband and my children. We went on a cruise, and for whatever reason, we couldn't get a flight directly back to home, so we decided to stay the night in Miami. So we got a hotel room, and it was kind of like overcast. We were tired from the trip. We decided to go on a walk, like around the little lake that they had there. And there's like this alcove, and I looked down and I saw a shell, and I was like, oh, that's kind of neat shell. It was bleached white, just been sitting there. And as we walked a little bit more, there's another one. And I was like, ooh, another one. I picked it up. And then there was like fucking snail apocalypse. Like snail shells.
Yeah, those seagulls got a hold of them.
Over the place. No.
Turtles?
Here's the thing. So, apparently, not apparently. People know this. Snails are voracious. They will eat the fuck out of tropical plants, anything like that. So these hotels, they have these gorgeous like fronds and flowers and stuff like that. They lay poison out.
Ooh.
And it kills the snails. Like that. So it was like, I wish I could. If I had the room, I would have taken them all. There's so many. I'm telling you, it was like I said, snail apocalypse.
Dude,
even Adam was like, this seems odd.
People choose certain animals based on where they are that are like the same way people think about like the opposition during a war. Like they don't like they like dehumanize them. People animalize like certain things. Like my uncle, he was in the Navy, I believe. And you know how there's that adage that if you feed seagulls Alka-Seltzer, they explode. Somebody mentioned that shit because I think he was on an aircraft carrier, and this dude was like, he was like an older black dude, or still is an older black dude, and he's like just really smooth. He's like smokes weed, drinks like Sam Adams, and is just chill all the time. And somebody said something about it, and he was all like, takes a drink off of Sam Adams, and he's like, yeah, that happens. And I was like, I'm not even gonna ask. Him and his Navy friends definitely were throwing out Alka-Seltzer on the aircraft carrier because they were tired of seagulls being on the deck and they're having to clear them off.
Yeah.
Like any animal that interferes with you doing your job, whether it's like if you're a farmer and there's like feral hogs. Like I've seen videos of feral hogs getting shot down by dudes with AR-15s and helicopters just because they're such an invasive species. So people will like just be like, pour some poison all over there. I don't give a fuck about those animals.
Yeah.
But those seashells, did they like most other animals? Do they shed that seashell? And is there a chance that some of them could have been like?
I think for the most part, like they were there for a while because like shells, like they're not naturally white. Most of them have like a pattern, like they're colorful, and just like a turtle, like a turtle has that beautiful like coloring.
The nine little plates.
Yeah.
What is it? 13 all the way around.
Yeah. Eventually, when it's sitting out in the sun, those like pieces will shed from the actual bone, the core of the shell. So the shells were like white because all that color that's in them, it's shed over time. So they're all white. All the colors that you see in my sculptures, it's actually painted on. I have to like re-add the color.
Like a lot, like I know the art that you have. I know that it like some of it is more like oddity because of the elements of like skeletons from different like animals. Mm-hmm. But there is a different element that I don't think that is really. It's odd, but it's not like what you would think that you would find in an oddity show. Like especially your paintings. Like what you sold a very a painting you had been working on very hard. I remember I came back.
I love my May Queen. I didn't think she was gonna sell.
You didn't think that thing was gonna sell? You know how many people stopped and looked at it?
Even this old unassuming old lady.
I would
never think like she had like.
Yeah,
she had that grandma look, like
little fucking tweed hat on.
Yeah, like she had that grandma, like probably goes to church every Sunday sort of look to her, and she was like, "My word, that movie was so strange and good. I've watched it like 3 times now."
I think we've gotten to the point where people that are 10 or 15 years older than us, look a little bit older than we think they are. So, like, think about, like, 10 years ago when a movie came out, like, 7 years ago, maybe?
Yeah, it's 2019.
Oh.
Yeah, it's not.
So,
it's
like,
not
5 years ago.
Yeah.
But 5 years ago, that lady was probably, like, 49. Yeah. So, like, a lot of stuff, like, for instance, like, music that I didn't think people would like, and I'll see, like, old people, like, not old people, but people that look like people's grandparents, and they're rocking out at the same shows. But I'm sure, for instance... Coheed and Cambria, they have a lot more newer music that is more dancey, right? Yeah. And the last time I went to a Coheed show, I brought my daughter because it was like it was either near when she got out of school or near her birthday, and I asked her if she wanted to go, and she obviously she grew up listening to it, so she's like, "Yeah, I'll go." And it's at the Anthem, like she hadn't been there. We go, and I saw this divide because there's the first 3 albums that are like talking about like murder and interstellar travel and space forces, like and the new stuff is still about that, but it's more dancey, more poppy. The old music comes on, you see everybody with gray hair and their beard and drinking beer, nodding their head and being like, "Yeah, it's my jam." And then this dancey comes on, and all you see is everybody's kids being like dancing around and shit, and it's like. That shit is hilarious to me because it's like as you get older, I thought I would get a little bit like not bitter, but like this shit sucks. But it's just funny the things that like the stuff that is more 80s oriented that literally the generation after us likes a weird version of the 80s, like because it's very poppy, very bright. Like they would like they'll wear like fucking shorts that show off way too much of their thigh that like we wouldn't wear in the 90s, but we definitely wore in the 80s. It's just weird, like really high white socks. I'm like, what the fuck are y'all doing? Y'all look like grandpa. Like I didn't want to wear that shit when I was in '88. I was forced to.
Style now.
Oh yeah, dude.
Like mom jeans. I'm so glad that died.
Fucking mom jeans are the fucking worst. Like, look, I'm not saying we should objectify women, but women, there is something to say. Like women don't dress up for men, but at a certain point, women do dress up to be attractive to the opposite sex so they can attract a partner of their choosing, whether it's a male or female, whatever. Mom jeans only, and I'll be honest, mom jeans only appeal to women that listen to Indigo Girls. They're not appealing to regular like lesbians because you want to see somebody's butt, right? Like a cute girl, right?
I'm definitely like I tend to.
You want to see the female form if you want to see a female, right?
Yeah.
And if you want to
like,
see it,
I'm a girly girl. Like I think because I've had
use a lipstick.
Yeah, I've had girlfriends before, but they're just as girly girl as I am.
Yeah. So the no dude is sitting around being like, "You look so hot in them jeans like my mom wore in '87."
Yeah.
Like it's not attractive. Like I understand like that high waist came in.
I love that. I'm wearing high waist.
But there's a difference between high waist, like the '70s high waist where it's still tight, and the '80s. I got a fupa.
Yeah.
Like that's what those jeans were covering up.
In the front.
And man, how am I supposed to say this without being really offensive? There's a lot of women that wear those that have a gut, and they might as well be called like up to under the nipple jeans, because it's like you look like you're wearing maternity pants.
Yeah.
And that is unattractive. I'm not saying that like big women are unattractive because it's all in the eye of the beholder. Some dudes are fucking hot for girls that look like that. Nobody is into somebody that looks like they got like they dress like Urkel with their jeans all the way up by their nipples. No one. Not one person. Not one person on this earth being honest with themselves. So like, yo, I want to procreate. Like, at all. And I know that's base as shit. It's like, we're fucking. But like, usually when you're going out to dress, like if you're going to a club with a group of your girls and you're trying to like meet dudes, not saying that you should dress up with the dudes. Yeah, like definitely like talk to your girlfriends because women are better at style. But women will also be honest with you, like no dude's gonna think you're attractive in that. Like if you come out with some like whack gear on, like whether it's your makeup looks stupid as shit, your hair look dumb, like other girls will be like, girl, let's like y'all will be tactful about it. Like if dude come in with a frilly shirt, like if I was in a place and some dude came in with a print shirt on and he was like the same size as me, I'll be like, bro, you gotta lose it. You gotta you look like shit. Because that's how dudes are. Women will be like, honey, let me help you. Like,
girl,
like that scene in Clueless. Yeah, that's what women do. Basically, the nicest way.
No, like honestly, I feel like everyone's got their own. Like I feel like I have my own style.
Oh yeah.
So like, everyone's got their own style, and they're comfortable in what they're comfortable in. That's what like makes them attractive. It's how they present themselves, how they exude that confidence in whatever they wear. So for me, like mom jeans really isn't an issue. The issue, like for me, like what I find attractive is kindness, like being kind.
Oh yeah.
Whether you're like, like you're around other people, you're around like people that are serving you, that's in the food industry or like any sort of service industry. Like that's what I find attractive.
I learned that at a young age. We had a friend, and she's an assertive chick. She works, I believe for Nike or something now. She's a very, very smart person, very driven. But one time we were in a line at, I think we had gone to like Springfield or something. We went to McDonald's, and I've never seen somebody that like I knew our food was gonna get spit in. She like immediately she started like one of those ladies that start checking the bag before they even drive off, holding up the line. Yeah. I'm like, we can go around the side and check the shit. Let's get out of people's way. Yeah. She's like, first off, she's like complains about the fries being cold. Yeah. So they make new fries. And then she starts saying shit like, there's too much ice in this. And I was like, we drove away and I was like, 100% they spit in that fucking Coke, right? Because I've worked food service and if somebody did that shit, somebody's balls have been in that. Like, trust me, they're all teenagers back there.
They just dipped their balls.
And this was back in the 90s where it was like teenagers working at McDonald's. There was definitely lots of balls dipped in that. I remember when I worked at Nissan Pavilion, one of my friends worked, I think he was making foot-long hot dogs, right? And he like took his hand, he had a glove on, but he took his hand and like rubbed his face because it was hot outside. Yeah. And some dude, there was these windows where you could see into the kitchen. Some dude made eye contact and was like, ew. And he picked up the hot dog, and it was a foot-long hot dog, and it was in the wrapper already, and he squeezed it. He was like, this one's for you, and put it in the fucking warmer.
That's awesome.
Yeah, like, you can't fuck with the people that serve your food, man. Like, ever. Be nice and cordial. Tip them well.
Right. I've eaten at a lot of places. Fancy, not fancy, whatever. I've never sent food back. I've never complained about it.
No, you just don't eat that next time.
Yeah, if it's not good, I'll take a couple of bites. I'll pay. Yeah. I'll tip still because the surface was still great. Yeah. And I'll just not order that dish again.
Oh yeah,
that's just how I am.
That's how you learn.
I've never complained about food. I've never sent food back because I think that's just shitty. Like,
and there are some restaurants, like if you go into somewhere like Ruth Chris or something, and they see you not eating it, that is something that I've noticed from higher end places. If they notice that you were pushing it around and you don't really like it, they'll be like, "Do you want something else? We can."
Yeah, like a lot of times they notice the body language and they'll say, hey, what's that?
The places that don't do it are the place. So knowing people that work in the food industry, a lot of these in like places that are chain places, especially, that's just frozen meals and people don't know it. They're not heating it up in a microwave, but it is stuff that is flash frozen, sent to them in like little food service trays, the same way as you get that meal preps from like whatever it is, and they make it there, like that compound butter that's supposed to flavor that. That's why they have a consistency in their taste. Like places like, I want to say like Red Robin, like Olive Garden, all these places,
all their foods are already made.
And then if you go to a place like Ruth Chris doesn't do that, like bigger like steakhouses. I'm sure like places like Longhorn and stuff like do that. Maybe not Logan's or something like that, where you can see them grilling. I'm sure there's certain things that are proprietary. But if you go to some place, especially like smaller places that are owned by the chef or the owner you see in the establishment, a lot of times it's going to be a little bit more handmade and attention to detail. You may get, I don't want to say inconsistency, but you may get a different taste from a steak the next time. But sometimes that's interesting. And it's definitely better than a chain place. Like I definitely found, like, living out in Front Royal, there are chain places, and a lot of people that are moving out here from Northern Virginia seem to want those places out here. I'm not a proponent of them because I don't eat a lot of fast food. So like if there's a Chick-fil-A in Front Royal, it's not going to make me any happier. It's just going to be a line that I pass where I'm like, why are they waiting for that? Because I would rather go to, like, I know Spelunkers is fast food, but it's not really fast food.
It's good. Like,
but that stuff
there's no other Spelunkers. For sure. That's
Spelunkers is savage as shit. I want to have the owners in here and be like, yo, which one of y'all thought about that motherfucking billboard that says right past the McDonald's? Because that is the most savage advertising. You put your competitor's name on your shit because you know your food is so bomb that you're like, I bet you their fucking milkshake machine's broken. Like
you know what's never broken? The custard machine.
Oh no,
never.
No. And that Helltown chicken sandwich, never order that shit all the way hot. You gonna burn your mouth.
What's that sandwich called?
The Helltown chicken sandwich. But there's a way to order it. Like, I forgot. Like, Chris probably knows where you order the hottest one. I've ordered almost the hottest one, and it came with like an antacid. And that's how you know some shit's hot, if they're giving you antacid, because there's a certain thing that happens. I don't know if everybody gets it, but if I eat something that's really hot, whether it's like, the Flatliner from Buffalo Wing Factory or like any of those things, once it gets past a certain point, it's not the heat that gets me. It's my body's involuntary reaction to start having hiccups. I don't know what happens. There's a certain point. It used to happen when I was younger and I would smoke weed and I would take like a bong hit. I would get the hiccups and I'd have to like train my diaphragm. And it was easy because I sang to like squeeze my diaphragm in and just slowly let the air out. It would go away. Once you get up to a certain point of heat, like the Flatliner did it to me. I want to say the Helltown chicken sandwich. You start sweating and then all of a sudden you hear hiccup. You don't feel like you're going to throw up or anything like that. But those hiccups are fucking next level. They quake your whole body because it's your body being like, what are you doing? This is poison.
Yeah. That shit happens with fucking craft beer. I can't handle it.
Oh yeah, like I can get hiccups from that shit. But there's a place called Hattie B's. That's the Nashville style. Nashville is closer to what the Helltown chicken sandwich is, because it's more. It's kind of dry. You know, with the buffalo, it's like it's kind of liquidy, more messy. Fucking those dry rubs, because it's all like the red pepper is caught in one bite, you'll be like, this is doable. The next bite, you're like, yo, why did I suck on Satan's balls right now? My kid is actually going to start working at the fucking Buffalo Wing Factory in Sterling. I almost want to get a video of her eating the Flatliner. I've seen, when I worked at Interpunk, they had the bright idea, because we were over by that location, that they would have contests. We had pinball machines in the motherfucker. So they would just, like, at lunch, we would watch like Sleepaway Camp for Halloween and have like a wing off. So they got ascending orders of like regular buffalo all the way up to the Flatliner, and everybody had to eat one. And you could move on to the next round. We got to the Flatliner, and this is where people were separated. I ate one, and they told us before we ate it, like it says the same chemical base as mace. It's fucking hot as shit. The only way to get that heat off your tongue, from what Buffalo Wing Factory said, was like you either need to take sugar because the granules will pull the fat molecules, because they'll like just go in between almost like sandpaper. You get that fat because it's like the seed and all that, like the capsaicin will go in between your taste buds, and that's why it burns so bad. So you have to take something with more fat, like some Ben and Jerry's or some Haagen Dazs, where it's really high fat, high sugar content, or just granulated sugar and grind it in your tongue. And that's the only thing you can do. Water is just gonna like dilute it. It's still gonna fucking burn. Yeah. And
it's oil. Like oil and water don't mix. So that's why that shit doesn't work.
Even milk barely works because it doesn't have enough fat content. So I eat one. And I was doing it. I thought I was gonna fucking win because I had this technique. I would take the drums, or not the drums, but the flats, and I would put them in between my teeth and just rip the meat off and swallow it. Because I figured, like, I can get through these. I can get this gift certificate. I can eat here for like a week. And this is back when you're fucking younger. You're fucking struggling musician. You're like, yeah, I work at this music store. So like, I get like to Flatliner. I try that, and I always had a beard, and it got stuck a little bit in my beard, and then it fucking like basically was on my lip. Wasn't really burning me, but my nose just started leaking mucus because it was just like, what are you doing? And I was like, oh no. And I'm hanging over a sink being like, oh. Then I look over, and there are 2 competitors left. Everybody else ate one, and it's fucking Will Mansfield and our homie Joel. This was a battle. This is a fucking fierce battle. They're going back and forth. You don't know who's going to win. All my money was on Joel because I've seen Joel do some wild shit. Joel, I think he bowed out, and I'm pretty sure that Will won. And Joel was like,
so tiny.
He wanted to eat for free for a week. That's some fucking effort.
Keep talking. I'm going to go refresh my wine.
That dude, 100%. Joel said the only reason he lost is because he went to Subway before the wing off and ate a whole 12-inch seafood salad sub from fucking. That is the word, dude. So when you're younger and you are a wild individual, he would, and I also think that maybe this is a thing because that people wild like some people from certain areas. I think the seafood sub. He's from Maryland. That's the crab, like. It's just like a flavor that you're used to. Just like grape soda ain't the same as grape juice. Yeah. It's like you still like it if you like the flavor of grape for some reason. I think he just was like used to eating stuff like that. What were those things? Bahama Mamas, those pickled sausages.
Oh, I love those things.
I ate one when I was little.
They're so good. But they're like sour and spicy.
But if you're eating a seafood sub and those, like...
Yeah, it's kind of a weird mixture.
I watched that motherfucker. We had a 10,000 square foot space for T-shirts. I watched him fart in these aisles and clear out probably 20 people out of fucking 10,000 square feet of space. That's what happens when you eat Bahama Mamas and seafood subs. You have the best flatulent on earth, man. I would put him up if they had a fart Olympics. I put all my money behind him.
Oh my goodness!
So,
who we got in the chat today? Who we got talking?
So Lunar Sprunk's in here as always. She said her nickname is Corn Nuts.
Ooh.
She also said, "Mom jeans can be hot. George is canceled."
I mean, she's right though.
Mom jeans can be hot on a chick that's like already attractive, but if you look like me,
no.
If you're the size of me,
look, I can tell you right now because it's still a thing, especially in the free people world. I love free people.
Yeah, but there's models in there.
Yeah, but no, they've got like the hefty.
Maybe it's just stigma because I just see it as all like.
It just depends on like how you wear it, what you're pairing it with. Obviously, if you're wearing like mom jeans and like a shitty shirt
and a mullet and some Marlboros,
yeah, it's not gonna look great. But you can style it appropriately, and like you can look hot as fuck.
It could happen. It could happen.
And just so that you know, mom jeans come off a hell of a lot faster than tight ones. These things, you just unbutton and go plop. They just
but when you pull them down, they might say like,
oh, "Hold on, I have a yeast infection."
Good God, man.
Nah. I know some people are excited because you know how people look forward in trends. There's a lot of dudes that are looking forward, and they're looking forward to low-rise whale tails. They think that's going to be the next thing.
No, I was not part of that group.
I'm actually surprised you weren't.
And no,
that was prime our generation.
Like in high school, I had a smoking hot body, tiny little fucking waist, weighed 115 pounds, and I still didn't wear that shit. I still wore my like gothy garb. It was usually like black negligees, combat boots, some chains, like, you know, that was the look for me. I was definitely the goth girl.
I wore. Fuck, I just dressed like a skateboarder all the way through school because that's all I did. It was like Etnies, fucking Vans, fucking cargo. Like I remember we used to go like fucking everybody would go to Sunny Surplus. And like that was one of the only places you could get like real cargo jeans because like when we were like cargo like pants became a lot of ravers wore them and it became like it went from being like made out of like the military ripstop stuff where it was like good for skateboarding because they didn't rip to being more like the UFO style where they were really big and made out of like I don't know like windbreaker material.
Yeah.
So not my thing. Mostly because I got one pair of those once because like there was some cross pollination with hip hop and skateboarding, and like when shoes got real big, when they would have those fucking big gaudy puffy ass shoes, those became popular, and I wore them like once or twice. They got hot as shit because it was like wearing a fucking sweatsuit all the time, and fucking let me tell you, if you fucking fall, them shits rip. So you got like one good fall in those before you're like, well, those are fucking done.
They're done now. I actually splurged and bought a pair of white suede Puma.
Lunar Sprunk wants to see my jeans. Look at them bad boys.
They're not as good. Look at mine.
Look
at that. I got them bell bottoms on.
Way better jeans than me.
Yeah.
I just wear regular ass jeans. I'm happy I haven't hit the point where I hit like dad jeans. Like those jeans that you see commonly paired with New Balances. Can't do it. I also can't do straight legs. That's because I got big ass fucking like, I fucking strangle people legs. So like, if I wear any jeans that are less than like just maybe straight or like relaxed, it looks like I'm wearing damn near like fucking leggings, especially in my calf. I made the mistake of getting like, I think they were like straight or athletic fit. It wasn't like skinny jeans. So I thought they were going to like, cause they were like tapered, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. I didn't know how tapered they were. It was like, it got to the bottom, and you would like,
like no,
they were tight on the top of my mid tops. I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" Like I have one pair that I keep around just to laugh at. Every now and again, I'll fuck up and put them on, and I'll get like halfway around the calf, and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm gonna flex and rip these some bitches."
I like skinny jeans on the right guy. Like that's just my thing. I like I said, it depends on your body type.
Oh
and
yeah,
how you're like wearing it, what you're like pairing it with, but for me, I can't wear straight leg jeans because it just makes my legs look boxy. I have I think big ass.
Maybe this is just me.
So I've got to wear things that like hug my booty.
This is just me stuck in maybe the mid to late 90s. I like girls in like flares or bell bottoms. It doesn't matter the waist, but I like that look. Like so, like the opposite of mom jeans. Maybe that's why I'm so like. Urgh. But I don't know.
I remember I've always like worn like flares in high school.
And like JNCOs, I didn't mind. And those are like baggy as shit. Like,
yeah, I wore those too. And I was like the UFO pants. Like, in my club going days. But I always I remember like thinking skinny jeans are the stupidest thing. I would never wear that. And then I was like on my like skinny jean kick, like, whoa, look at my ass.
Look at my ass.
Look at my booty though. Like, yeah, I was all about that.
If I ever saw one of my friends and he was like, yo, look at my ass in these jeans, I'd be like, bro, take them off right now. I ain't trying to see your BBL drizzy
if
out
here. If a dude said that to me, I'd be like, come here and bring that ass over here.
Yeah. I'm all thighs and quads.
I'm just saying, like, if someone was confident enough to do that, bring it on over, baby.
The only tight stuff that I would wear is like I don't mind like suits being like tapered, like and like. Tight.
Oh yeah, I love a
I'm not saying we should all try to be Conor McGregor because that motherfucker be wearing like 8-year-old suits.
Oh my god,
no, like so
Conor pulls it off.
He pulls it off sometimes.
He pulls it off. I love a slim fitting suit on a guy. It's fucking hot.
Maybe just because I know how small that dude is, that he just like it. To me, I always laugh because I'd like, I know where he got that. What section of that store he got that in? Because he fights at like the biggest he's ever fought is like 170. He probably didn't weigh that much, and not to say 170 is a small dude, but for that sport, like he started off at 145 pounds. Like that was the first weight class he was in. When he was in that weight class, he looked kind of emaciated. So maybe that's why I always think about it. But a lot of fucking the bigger fighters don't wear that stuff. It's always the smaller guys in the lower weight classes. If you're here, come in.
Enter.
Who knows?
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were supposed to have a guest, but he showed up early and then left. I don't know where he is.
Lunar
right
Sprunk.
now.
I would never wear straight jeans, ever. I can't pull it off.
No, he can't. He probably wouldn't be able to get it over his thigh.
Plus, fucking, it'd be like, check out my dong strapped to my leg. Fucking, that shit would be fucking terrible. Fucking, you got to choose which fucking side of the fucking your jeans to put your dick down.
He'd have to like lay down and like.
Now I could get him. I get him the right size. I wouldn't get like a fucking size like 30. Then it's gonna be like spandex.
I always buy my pants like just a little tight. I always size down. I don't know why. It's just I like that. Tight.
That's a different thing. Like
I think it's because I'm a runner, and if I have to run for it, I can't have all this fabric in my way. I gotta be able to go.
I think that's why I don't like tighter jeans. It's gonna sound fucking stupid. I know it. I can't head kick somebody wearing them jeans. I gotta have some flex in the crotch. Because if somebody is doing some dumb shit, I got to be able to front kick them right in the chest and fucking like do what I have to do. Either get the fuck out of there.
You'd be surprised that tight fitting, form fitting. Like, why do you think superheroes wear like?
So I know some dudes have women have a different type of jean material than guys in those pants. Like your jeans typically are more stretchy. I think dudes' jeans are pretty much just like denim. So if you fucking kick too hard, like I remember when I was skateboarding, I would rip the crotch out of my pants all the time. Just from you do like a fucking kick flip and kick your leg out and you'd be like, oh fuck, rip your pants. Mm-hmm. So I definitely, dude, I've gone home from skate spots with like my whole ass out of my pocket before. So
I only had that happen one time.
I've had, dude, one time was right in front. It was at good old Manassas. I'll tell you exactly where it was. It was exactly in front of Mamma Mia's. And fucking, I went to go ollie up the curb, and I think my back foot caught on the ground and didn't pop up. And I didn't do the splits, but I did a long step, and it was like rip. And I was standing right in front of this place that I ate all the time when I was little with my parents, with fucking my whole like fucking taint out, just like out in public, just like the whole ass taint was just out. Damn. So I slowly skateboarded with my legs really close together to my car and got in trouble.
That's nothing compared to my stuff.
Oh yeah. Like nobody. I'm sure people saw me, but they didn't come out and be like, "Hey, so it's pantsless."
It's terrible. So, another story time. I was hanging out with my friend, and we were like, she used to work with me, and it was after work, and she's like, "Hey, my brother's having a party. We should go over there. Like, just have some drinks." And back in the day, like a gaming party, like he had Halo or whatever. That was when Halo was like brand new, and I'm like, ooh, I want to try that game. I love games. I'm a gamer. I love doing that stuff. So we went to his apartment, and they had like this giant gate up. I guess they were doing construction, and she's like, let's just climb over the gates. I'm not walking all the way around the building because we were fucking lazy. Because why walk? Why actually walk, right? So she climbs over. She makes it totally fine. I climb over, and my pants kind of gets caught in one of like the spokes of the chain link fence, and I'm like, what? I can't get down. Like, and she's just like, just jump. And I'm like, but I'm caught on something. She's like, just fucking do it. So I do it, and my entire pant leg from like my knee all the way up my crotch over to the other side rips just in half. Just my whole pants just. And I land, and she's like, did you rip your pants? I'm like, yes, I'm holding them. I'm holding my crotch together, and I'm laughing at the same time, sort of crying. And she's like, what's wrong? And I'm like, I'm not wearing any underwear today. I don't know why. I don't know what possessed me to go commando that day. And of course, my pants ripped. Like, and she's like, it's okay. Like, my brother, he'll give you some boxers. It's right there. And I'm like, okay. You know, like the worst case scenario is I walk in and just, like run to the bathroom. So we get there, and she opens the door, and there's a whole fucking group of dudes sitting on the couch. As I'm like holding onto my pants, holding my pants together, and I noticed one of the guys is the lead singer for Dashboard Confessional. Yes, that song. Her hair everywhere, your hair. You know that song. You know that song that I'm talking.
Screaming infidelities.
Yeah, that song. I was like mortified. So like I'm clutching like the crotch of my pants, and I make the shameful walk to the bathroom, which is past the living room full of these dudes playing Halo, and I'm just sitting in the bathroom for a few minutes, and my friend knocks on the door. She's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "I'm not okay. I just want to go home." And like she opens the door and she throws me like her brother's boxers, which is even worse. So like his boxers, I had to like go out there with his boxers on. I mean, it was still fun. I've still played Halo, and I drank a lot. I drank a lot that night to cover up the pain and shame of ripping my pants. So that's just like the second most embarrassing thing I've ever done in front of somebody that was in a band. So like that's my like limit. I don't think I'm gonna do anything more than that. Like those are my hard limits of being embarrassed. Oh wait, no, I have a third story. But it's not really in front of a band member. It went on a date with a friend, and we went to go see Suicidal Tendencies, which, by the way, they kind of suck now. They were great back in the day, but they suck now. And we had a good time. We had a lot of fun. It was a long way from where we live, like 2 hour drive to the venue. So we were both tired. I was just trying to race home, and got stopped by a cop on my date, and the cop wanted to field sobriety test.
Fuck all that.
So that's like the third. So there's three. And third most embarrassing thing to happen to me during some sort of like song venue like thing. Yeah. I obviously had not been drinking for a while after that, like, but damn coppers.
Yeah.
He let me he knew that I was visibly like I was over it. Like I was like, dude,
let me back in my car.
Like he was like, I smell alcohol. I'm like, I'm like chewing gum. I'm
trying.
I'm trying to stay awake here, my guy. Like we had a few drinks a few hours ago. Like it was so embarrassing. I was more embarrassed because like that had never happened on a date before, and the guy was like sitting, like my date was just sitting there like quiet, stoically quiet, didn't say a goddamn thing, and I'm like, holy shit, this guy's never going to see me again. And I was right. We never went on a date after that, ever again.
Weak ass.
Look, if I'm not like insanely crazy and embarrassing you in public, then am I really worth it? Am I?
Even if like this, I can understand if you went to like a show and the girl you were with got super drunk and got in a fist fight or started like doing some scandalous shit.
Right.
But like, getting pulled over.
Yeah, that's nothing. Yeah, that's a cakewalk.
That's normal.
I mean, I've been pulled over so many times. So many times. I always they always let me off. They always let me off, those motherfuckers. I think he just knew that, like, he was like, I was like, look, dude, I just want to go home.
That shit's fucking.
I'm having a bad day now. Now that you've pulled me over and got me out of my car and made me count backwards holding my foot up, like, what the fuck? On a hill? Who can do that? Nobody can do that. I could, though. I did it. I looked him right in the eyes and did it.
Lunar Sprunk is
I did
in here.
It fast too.
And she said earlier that George can't even drive straight. To which it was replied, George drives, leathery gay slave. And Lunar Sprunk says that I am I'm a leather daddy apparently.
Oh, are you now?
Now I am. Leather daddy. I don't think I could wear leather.
You're gonna like wear one of those like little collars.
No, I'll wear the humongous outfit. Yeah, we were talking about this earlier. All right, so you've seen The Road Warrior. I think a lot of people have seen the second Mad Max movie. It's the one where it's like a lot more apocalyptic. So there's the main bad guy, Humongous, where it's like the metal, almost Jason-looking hockey mask. And then there's the second protagonist, Wiz, the guy with the mohawk, right?
Yeah.
Found out his name was Wiz, W-E-Z. If you watch that movie, you know there's a blonde gentleman that's always on the back of his bike that's wearing leather as well. Kind of assumed through all this that was his boyfriend, right?
Right.
Gets better. Definitely was his boyfriend. You know what this character's name was in the movie?
What was that?
The Golden Youth. He was wrangling that motherfucker.
Golden Youth.
Oh, yeah, that was his boyfriend. Because then you notice, remember how like the little feral kid with the boomerang cuts that nigga's head off? Cuts it right the fuck off. Pow! That dude Wiz loses his shit. You only lose that shit if that's your boyfriend. Yep. He had to be held back with chains.
Yep. For sure.
Yeah, dude. Sure. Don't kill a gay biker's boyfriend in the apocalypse.
Speaking of which, I recently saw Furiosa.
How was that?
It was really good. I liked it.
I heard Thor's in that bitch, Chris Hemsworth, and he's kind of like, he looks weird as shit in it.
Yeah, they changed his face. Like they gave him like a
evil character
yeah,
face.
Like the typical like hooked nose, and made him like crazy. And he plays a fantastic crazy person. It was a great movie. I enjoyed it. I can see why a lot of people didn't like it. It was a little long. There's a lot of like loopholes, and of course you only get like a glimpse of Max in the movie. So like when I think the argument is like, why would you call it a Max saga if he's not in the actual film?
It's the universe.
It's like it shows him at that moment when Furiosa was at that age, because he does meet up with her in the next, like in the film prior, like as it's aged.
Let's say, for instance, Deadpool. That is a comic book movie, but it's specifically that is an X-Men. So if they were like Deadpool, an X-Men saga, it would make sense because that's the universe in which they live in.
Yeah, but they don't call it an X-Men saga.
No, like, they don't because.
But I think that's why people were like, "Well, he wasn't even in the film." I'm like, instance, yeah, he was for like a brief second. You can see him.
You know what?
Watching the shit going on.
The director,
in the valley,
George Martin, has a varied career. Do you know what other movies he has made that he wrote and directed?
I've heard this story.
You know, he directed movies that you would never think. He wrote and directed. Maybe he didn't write this one. I know he directed Babe and Babe 2, Pig in the City.
Wow.
You know what else he did?
That's crazy.
You know what he won his first Oscar award for?
What's that?
Happy Feet.
What the fuck?
He directed motherfucking Happy Feet.
I didn't really like that movie.
I didn't like it either.
My
but
kids didn't like it either.
But when you think about that movie and then you think about fucking Road Warrior.
Yeah. Like, what? This doesn't match.
But he's a good director because both of those movies are very, like, they exist and they're like, Happy Feet is, you definitely like, yep, there's some penguins in Antarctica.
Yeah.
When you watch fucking Babe, Pig in the City, you're like, that's a pig on a farm that can talk. And when you watch Mad Max, you're like, that's the apocalypse.
Yeah. Weird.
It's one weird. Of the, I didn't think about it till now. One of the only other movies where I could think it could happen in the Mad Max universe.
What's that?
Book of Eli. The Denzel movie where he's blind and the Bible, but it's in Braille. Spoiler. That movie is about the same. Like in terms of like just like what you would think would happen.
Post-apocalyptic shit. I'm like looking up Mad Max like lore now. Furiosa was really good. If you haven't watched like the first one,
Fury Road.
Yeah, Fury Road with Charlize Theron. Oh my god, she's so gorgeous. Even with her bald head, I just want to like rub her fuzz. That was a fantastic movie. Furiosa kind of takes place when she's really, really young. When like the world's
the story of how she got to
they still
Morton Joe.
Right, they still have the green place of abundance. That's where she comes from with her mother, and they're on their way back, and they get kind of hijacked by the not hijacked, like she comes across this crew, and they're trying to um she pulls off the spoiler alert. She pulls off the gas. They're trying to defer them from trying to find their place of abundance. They're trying to keep outsiders out. And she ends up getting kidnapped, and her mother goes to try to save her. So the whole movie, at least for the first 40 minutes, is her mother trying to get her back and make it so that these people don't know where their home is. And of course she still gets captured, and she gets thrown in between these two tribes. And she tries to survive without telling anybody about where her home is, because her home is vastly different than the gas town or the ammo town, or even the other place where that main dude with the the mask guy,
Morton Joe.
Yeah, I can't think of the name of their place. I know it's where all the insane what do they call them? The
something boys.
Yeah, the boys.
The Bachabazi boys.
Yeah. They spray their face. I did find out a little bit, reading the lore, why they do a lot of bloodletting, and
because they're all sick.
They're sick. They all have cancer from working in these mines and
breathing in that fucking shit.
Yeah, so that's why. I didn't know that in Fury Road. It doesn't explain that, and then I actually had to jump through a few Reddit rabbit holes where
Reddit holes.
Yeah, where they've explained they're sick because they've been working their mechanics their whole lives, and they have cancer. So just switching out blood just makes them live just a little bit longer.
Fucking dickheads taking Max's blood.
It's a great movie. Spoiled a little bit in the beginning. I'm not gonna spoil the end.
Lunar Sprunk called your spoiler.
I am a spoiler. Sorry, guys. If I watch something that's exciting, I'm going to talk about it. And if you haven't watched it yet, well, you should have watched it.
Watch that shit.
Came out 2 weeks ago, and now it's not. I don't even think it's in theaters anymore. We caught the last. I think Adam was having a hard time trying to find.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Movies go to.
It didn't get a lot of
movies stream faster now.
Yeah, it goes, and it depends. There are movies that really do well.
Yeah.
In the theater, Late Night with the Devil actually did fantastic, and I watched the first time and I was but I was also tired. We had just done the show and we went to Catamount and drank, so I fell asleep through it.
I definitely feel
it was great. I watched it the second time. I was wow, this movie is fantastic.
You have to be fully that's a middle of the day horror movie.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna start wrapping this up. It's getting towards 11. All right. Of course, go over to see Chris. Chris performed at Pavement. Pavement is starting to do stuff with Connor and Ace from Black and White Comedy. There was a bunch of comedians that were really funny there. Somebody asked me if they thought I could beat them up. That was a hilarious set. There are a lot of good comedians, so if you see Black and White Comedy, go check them out. I know they do stuff at various places between Winchester and Manassas. I think there's a show, Hog Shack. I think they're doing stuff in Manassas. I believe they're doing stuff at Pavement. They're doing stuff at I forgot the place in Winchester, but go check them out. Look up Black and White Comedy. Connor and Ace definitely doing a lot more shows. Of course, the open mic night at On Cue for lots of comedy. If you want to get working out, if you want to do comedy and you live in Front Royal or close to it, you can bounce between there and Catamount with their open mic and get some stage time. Test some shit out. See what pisses off the audience and what makes them laugh. Go over to Well, That Is Odd.
Yes, my stuff. Look at my art. I actually have a show. I'm actually looking that up. I'm not just rudely on my phone. I'm trying to segue into this, and I can't find it now. But I will be at a it's an air show. It's a firework pre 4th of July air show in West Virginia. I'm and of course I cannot find it. I never can find anything on Facebook anymore, which is why I never use it. I'm on Instagram. I don't use Facebook that much.
But just
anyway,
look at all your information on.
Yes, just look it up. There's an air show coming up June 29th in Berkeley, West Virginia. I will be there. I will be vending. I will have all my weird stuff. I have way more art stuff to show. I don't want to put it online right now because
surprises?
I like to I didn't even add the May Queen until after I sold it because I like the element of surprise. Just come to my booth, buy my stuff, or just sit and talk to me. I think I enjoyed that most when people came and looked at my stuff and then asked for my card, which I don't have any cards, but I will have a QRG code. I'll have a QRG code next time so that people can just easily hey, I'm an ex-genner. I'm not a product of I don't know technology as well as I should. I probably should, but I don't. So now that I know what I need, I don't really need paper cards, just a little code, and you can look me up. Well, that is odd. All _ You'll see some of my artwork, or you can check me out at the Air Show, Berkeley, West Virginia, June 29th. Just look that up. I'm not sure the actual location. I'll know that next week, and you can come see me. And 38 Special's gonna be there. It's a free show, guys. We can rock and roll together.
I'm gonna be in my whitest behavior.
Yeah, hold on loosely and never let that song.
That's what you hear.
That song, never let go. Whoa.
There's some songs that when you hear them, you're gonna hear "Yee!"
Yeah.
Or "The South will rise."
or all the white women will be like, "Yeah, I love this song." Ah.
That's your chance, Black Kings.
Yeah. So they'll be there. It's free to get in. Just come on down.
So
buy my stuff and listen to music and watch people fly planes and fireworks and stuff.
We got a question. Someone asked us to name our favorite Sublime song. Mine is it's not even a song. It's the Raleigh Soliloquy.
That one's good.
Get out of my room. Get back.
Oh God. I gotta say, mine is it starts with an R. I don't listen to Sublime often.
I like Pool Shark.
That one's good. I actually just listened to it earlier.
All
it's
of 40 hours.
I don't know.
Baja? No, that's Long Beach. But yeah. Go over to @Helltown on all those socials. It's on YouTube. As soon as we get cleared from the gods over at Spotify, the show will be downloadable and listened to over there. Not the video; it'll just be the audio only. You'll be able to download that on everything, iTunes, fucking whatever your dissemination point is. Always watch and follow along. You can get in the comments. Old Lunar Sprunk's in there doing big things. That's our moderator. So if she tells you to shut the fuck up, listen to her. Thank you.
We're still looking for
Yeah, if somebody wants to sit over by the luxurious cockpit studio and fucking man the chat, they can. We're looking for interns. Not those Bill Clinton interns. I'm talking good interns that can type fast and don't say dumb shit. Like me.
5446 is my favorite song.
Oh, 54.
It wasn't the R song. I thought it started with R. I don't know. I'm ADHD. I don't remember names or things like that. I just
pick up on it. Yes. Also coming up. Well, I think it's the end of July. If you are a female that does any type of combat sport, whether it's wrestling, jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai, straight up MMA. They're going to be doing an all-women smoker. Look for information for that. I know my daughter's going to be competing in wrestling. So prepare yourselves. She's going to suplex one of y'all. But check that out. It's kind of cool that martial arts are very inclusive, and it's women that get into it are very, very inclusive with other women in terms of getting. We all know that fucking dudes being on top of you when you're trying to do jiu-jitsu probably isn't the best thing. And like when women have their own thing, it's really nice to see a bunch of people that are genuinely like amped up about something. It's like a lot less like when dudes get like are doing combat, it's like rah rah machismo. When women doing it, it's almost a whole different vibe. They're like, I like your hair, I like your gi. Like, so it's like it's refreshing to see, and it's refreshing to see like the new generation of women coming up and doing their own thing and not having a bunch of stinky dudes trying to fucking like in that arena. So yeah, if you do combat sports, look for that, and don't get suplexed by my kid.
Mm-hmm.
What
else is there? Ooh.
What?
June 20th.
What's that?
We need to have a field trip, obviously.
What's going on?
We need to go to an IMAX theater.
What's going on there?
We can watch this really groovy movie about like Euro hippies.
What's that?
Oh, it's Midsummer.
Midsummer.
Who wants to go on a Midsummer like field trip with me? Come on, guys. I saw this movie for the first time in a theater, and I gotta tell you, it was at Alamo, which is not a fucking IMAX theater. I want to see it at an IMAX theater because it's a visually stunning film. Who wants to go?
All I'm saying is,
come on.
If you want to recut,
tell me.
The director's cut should have less of my.
It is, yeah. Director's cut is actually like I've seen it.
Is there less of my people dying? Because that's my only beef with that movie.
It is gory.
Serious.
There's like serious parts in it.
I have no problem with that, but all I'm saying is, I'm gonna stand on this. All them white guys understand that one dude peed on a sacred grave. My people's was just inquisitive. He just wanted to make a documentary.
Yeah, that dude was an asshole, though.
He wasn't as big of an asshole.
No, he's still an asshole.
Oh, he was.
He's a disrespectful asshole.
He's a little bit disrespectful. But you can slap that motherfucker. You ain't got to kill him. The other dude pissed on somebody's grave. I understand it. The other dude, shitty boyfriend. Yeah, put him in the bear suit. My people. That could have been Jordan Peele.
Let's go.
They could have ruined the next Nope.
Hit me up on Instagram.
You
know where to find me. We'll go. We'll watch this movie. Your life will be changed.
It'll be changed. You know what else needs to change? Your attitude this week. You know what you need to do? We talked about it before. Last week it was a high crotch where you get your arm underneath, you get a single leg, snatch it up. This week we're talking full back body German suplex. You're going to grab them around the waist. They're going to be like, who's behind me? And you're going to be like, you're going for a ride. And you're going to suplex that week clean into the ground like you were fucking giving it a crippler crossface. I know this might as well be gibberish, but you can do that. You don't have to sit around and let your week suplex you. You can suplex your week. There's always a Saturday. You know what that Saturday is for?
Drinking it into oblivion.
Wilding the fuck out. Wild out on your weekends.
Yeah.
Fuck this shit. You're only here once. Do that shit big.
Yep.
And lots of things happen. You might not be able to get that suplex. Punch the weak in the dick.
I'm for it. I agree. Let's do that. This is good dick punching.
Come join us at Catamount Lounge.
Yeah.
Bye. Lunar Sprunk. My OnlyFans is meats and feats.